There's a story many of us were taught about the last days. A sudden disappearance, people vanishing, and those left behind, forgotten, doomed, abandoned. But what if that story is incomplete? What if the ones who remain are not cursed, but chosen? Today, we're going to walk through ancient texts, Enoch, 2 Esdras, and Joel, and uncover a very different picture of the end times. One that speaks not only to the spirit, but to the reality we're living in right now. The book of Enoch describes a moment of divine separation, a day when the sheep and the goats are no longer mixed. The hidden becomes visible. Mercy is extended, but not forever. It tells us that in those days, the earth will give back what was entrusted to it. The righteous will be transformed, and the unjust will be removed from among them. But here's the key. This is not just about escape. It's about purification and restoration. The righteous aren't just taken away. They are made ready. Then we move to 2 Esdras, a vision of a man rising from the sea, powerful, unstoppable. He doesn't fight with weapons. He speaks, and entire armies fall. This figure represents divine authority. Judgment, yes, but also order. Now here's where it gets interesting. Verses 22 to 26 shift the narrative completely. Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind, this is the interpretation. He that shall endure the peril in that time hath kept himself. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith towards the Almighty. Know this therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead. This is the meaning of the vision. Whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea. The same is he whom God the highest hath kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind. Instead of focusing on those taken or destroyed, the text highlights those who remain. There is a group who are preserved, protected through the chaos. Not removed, but kept for a purpose. These are not the forgotten. They are the ones who will be guided, who will be organized, who will be used by God to rebuild. Now let's bring in Joel. Joel describes a world in crisis. Fires will rage, and darkness will follow. Armies will move like shadows. Systems will collapse. Sound familiar? But Joel doesn't stop at destruction. He says, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Sons and daughters will prophesy. Old and young will receive visions. And then comes the turning point. Whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. Not removed, not vanished, delivered, preserved, empowered. Then in chapter 3, God says, For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people, and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among all the nations, and parted my land. God gathers the nations, not his people, to judgment, which means the focus is not on rescuing people out of the earth, It's on establishing justice within it. Let's talk about the word many people hold on to, rapture. The popular idea says, the faithful disappear. The rest will suffer. But these texts suggest something deeper. The righteous are not escaping responsibility. They are being prepared for it. And those who remain? They are witnesses, builders, carriers of divine order, not abandoned, appointed. Now, let's bring this home. For many in the Black communities, there's already an understanding that we are a people who have already endured their judgment. We have been scattered, oppressed, tested, but also we have been preserved, not erased, not removed. Still here. That lines up powerfully with what we're seeing in these texts, because the pattern is clear. God does not always remove his people from hardship. Sometimes he keeps them through it so they can rise on the other side with clarity, authority, and purpose. Look around. Systems are shaking. Truth is being questioned. People are waking up, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. This isn't random. This is what these texts described. A time of exposure, separation, awakening. So the question isn't, will you be taken? The real question is, if you remain, will you be ready? Ready to stand in truth, lead with wisdom, help restore what's broken. Maybe the blessing isn't escape. Maybe the blessing is assignment. Maybe the ones who remain are the ones who will rebuild, the ones who will guide, the ones who will carry light into a darkened world. So don't fear being left behind. Understand what it might really mean to be chosen to stay, to be chosen to stand, to be chosen to help bring order where there was chaos. Because according to these ancient words, the story of the days is not just about endings, it's about who will still be standing when the new beginning comes.